Welcome back to the Reptiles With Podcast. The government's trying to take away our lights. We have to give a Thylacine update. But first, Kevin McCurley roasted the shit out of the ball python community.
Did he know?
Yeah, he literally said that they're done. He said that the craze is over.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. How do you guys feel about that?
I guess I didn't watch this video because
I don't even know if this is the thing. The only reason that I know about this is because the homie Jeremy has gone on a few lives where he's talking about it. I didn't hear it. I didn't see if it was a post. I don't know exactly what the context was, but he's pretty much talking about it like if it's a thing of the past, it's not not it anymore.
Yeah.
How do
we could just do a poll like, all right, of all the ball pythons breeders here, are you guys making money?
Here in this room?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Then yeah, it's not over. yeah. I mean, it's true. Like, I don't think that people are necessarily losing money on ball pythons. I think it maybe has gotten to a point where it's oversaturated. Yeah, there are maybe too many ball pythons for the market.
Nah, dude, we need to import more because of bloodlines and shit.
For real.
I think he
idiot.
got bored of ball pythons.
Yeah. Someone we know recently just reported like 160 normal juvenile ball pythons.
Yes.
Who did that?
Why? Yeah, someone we know.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. 160.
There's
That's
more.
fun.
There's
multiple people.
That was the person we know. Only one person.
Yeah.
That's
I
crazy.
I thought about that because, like, if one person gets that many, how many other people are getting them? Then you get close to like over 1,000 for sure.
And then you have major facilities breeding them.
Especially throughout the U.S. alone. And then I started thinking like, okay, all of these are wild caught. Probably from a very small region, like those animals get fucked up in the wild because of it. But we still need new bloodlines.
We need the new blood. We need dinkers. We need dinkers to make new morphs.
It's that bullshit idea that the community has.
I think, and something that Jeremy said along with that topic is that, and obviously he's friends with Kevin. He was pretty much saying he's like, that style that was breeding ball pythons back then that Kevin probably might still be doing now is non-existent in today's industry of ball pythons, where when I got into it, people were really introducing like codominant genes with recessives, and that was the thing at that point. And right before that, everybody was just a bunch of codominant genes, 5-6 gene codominants with supers or whatever, but now people are doing like 4 or 5 recessive gene animals. And now that we have the access to RGI, which is the shed testing thing that I was talking to you guys about earlier, to find out what genetics a lot of these animals actually have, it's crazy the advancement of ball pythons. Where me as a ball python breeder, I do get worried about, not being able to keep up with the industry. And of course that's going to be some kind of concern. But I don't really see that it's over because maybe here in the States it's saturated. It might not be saturated across the world. And we have such a stronghold here in the States of the mutations and the fact that so much of it was started here that we have better avenues of exporting and hitting markets outside of the of the country.
But if you think about it as a business within the U.S., how many people are actually capable of doing that? That's one, other than the big names.
Yeah.
And then 2, like if you want to start, you can't start an export. So you're gonna make the minimum amount of money within the industry in the U.S.
Yeah.
So I feel like the smaller people are gone.
I think it's a harder barrier of entrance. This is the thing. I think the smaller breeders, which are would be the hobby breeders that don't really do it for a living or are trying to do it for a living.
They're done.
Well, they have the avenue of wholesaling and just making enough money for their feed. Wholesaling. I think that the middle people are what's kind of killed.
The people that want to get to
that might not have the capital that would be the quote unquote buy-in. Because the reality is that you could really buy into this industry. You could spend $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 and play along with the big dogs. It's the truth. But no, I mean it's different than what it is today. But I definitely don't think it's over.
I would say
I think the
if we think
overhype
about it
is
as a
over.
graph, it would have to plateau. I don't think it's plateaued, although I will say that more species are coming into markets. More people are being more okay with different species. So I think there's less of a thing where more people are having only ball pythons as pets only. I think gone kind of are the days of people having 5 ball pythons as pets. I think nowadays people have the one ball python because they got into it because of course everybody starts with the ball python. They get into it, then they start looking at other snakes and like, oh, I want to get this snake, I want to get this snake. I don't want to get 5 ball pythons anymore.
I'll tell you what, even at the shows, I mean, obviously you at the shows you get a lot of pet people, but I would say the majority of those pet people that would settle for the ball python because it's the thing that's the easy access, I would say that now I'm noticing people looking for more unique stuff. And that's what when I was talking to Jeremy about it, I was like, it's crazy how many people are just like coming in and they're like talking about random thing this, random thing that, which is a double-edged sword because usually they're talking about animals that are imported. But I say that to say that I think the general consumer is much more educated about what it is that they want today.
And I agree with the double-edged sword because of that, because now people are focusing on red-eyed croc skinks, for example, and then those animals are imported. So in the wild, they get fucked, and then in captivity, it's hard to keep them for a lot of people. And then, like, I don't know, more animals end up being fucked up because of it. Because not a lot of people are actually, quote-unquote, breeding, even if you bred those animals, it does not help the animals that end up exported.
That is an interesting point to make, especially with, like, when you think about exotic pet keepers. Like, in the past, you would say that, like, maybe an albino Burmese python was an exotic pet. Like nobody had albino Burmese pythons, you know. At some point they weren't even existent, you know. So then you have this thing where the more exotic or particular animals become as pets, the closer that it becomes, like it's no longer an exotic pet is no longer a luxury for the top class. Honestly, now we're bringing it closer and closer to, you know,
a free for all.
Lower class, middle class people can go ahead and be like, I want a croc skink. You know, why not? And then they have better access.
The best example of that is reptile shows. Like the day that I see ball pythons not be the majority at a reptile show is the day I'm like, all right, ball pythons kind of fell off. But I don't think they're going anywhere.
I don't think they're gonna disappear like colubrids did, but I think they will come down to a medium. I think they're too high.
What do you think?
I think the only competitor for the ball pythons is crested geckos. I think there could be a point soon where crested geckos surpass ball pythons at shows.
There is so many crested geckos at shows now. It's crazy. I would say that before, like, ball pythons were the majority, but now that majority is split 50-50 with crested geckos.
Yeah, but I don't think like cresties are a competition. I think cresties were a competition to like leopards.
I don't think so, because before cresties, people were saying, I mean, definitely competition for leopards, but before cresties became like really that big, it was ball pythons and corn snakes, quote unquote. You know, they're like, I want a reptile that's not a turtle. You have to default to either corns or ball pythons. But now a lot of parents that might still have stigmas against snakes, they can keep that stigma. They're like, okay, I don't necessarily need to get the ball python or crested gecko. I can get, or a ball python or the corn snake. I can go for the crested gecko.
Yeah,
and I think then it is direct competition because if it's a first time pet. I think they're also in two
realms, because I think a lot of people within the industry or the hobbyists or just the keepers, they either really like snakes or really like lizards. That's why
that's a fair
I don't
point.
see them as a competition. That's why cresties took out leopards. Ball pythons, I don't know what would take them out. I think they're like close to quote perfect for what they are. They're big enough. They're easy to take care of and all these things. But because they're oversaturated as a business, I don't think ball pythons like stay up where they are. But as a reptile to keep, as a normal reptile to keep, as a common reptile to keep, it will always stay what it is.
I think
for sure.
I'd say that it's still sustainable as a business, but there is a high what is it called? The high barrier of like entrance. Yeah. Like you just gotta like, if you're really trying to aim for the business side of it, like you gotta be strategic about how you're entering this, because now that we're stacking so many recessives, there's so many more ways to go about things. Being that they're recessive, it's a little bit harder to make. Yeah. But you just got to be smart about it. The thing that people have in the ball python community have been saying for years and years and years and years, and not a lot of people did, was work with the things that you like. And people were working with the things that they thought would make them money. Yeah. And now those people are like, oh, fuck. And the people that were like working with the things that they liked and perfected it, they're like, no, like I had a vision and it came true. And because of this vision, it created what was going to be the next stage. And those are the people that found success.
I also think there's too many. Like there's a point where ball pythons are no longer cool, but there is a plateau of like what counts as a cool ball python.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of the times you could show someone, Joe Schmo, or even some people in the reptile hobby that aren't ball python people, a blue-eyed leucistic ball python versus a 4 combo animal, and they're going to be like, that blue-eyed Lucy looks way cooler than whatever.
There is I haven't seen a cool I haven't seen a ball python that's really like stopped me in my like, oh damn, in a while. And then a listener of the podcast, Zach Hernandez, sent me a reel today of like, it was a super orange dream, Barnhart black pastel, scrambler yellow belly. It was like one of those like,
and it looks like an orange
Doritos, Cheetos, Blue Ball
this
Republican.
thing was insane. This thing was crazy. I was like, fuck, because now what they're noticing that with these genetic tests, that even though the genes are similar, because of the line, it's just it's different. Like the Barnhart black pastel is like way different than the black pastel, even though that they are similar.
What they're talking about?
No, and see, look, I can see that too. I can see that specific people working with specific
like
traits.
Lines.
Yeah, it makes sense that you could have some really, really high-end animals. For example, Herb Times brown anoles.
Yeah,
they're red anoles.
They're fucking
which
red.
is fire. But I mean, I could show someone like 30 brown anoles outside, and they're not gonna think anything of it. They're like, okay, whatever. Yeah. But the thing is that even if all those 30 brown anoles are different morph combinations, nobody's gonna care.
Yeah.
They're gonna care about things that look cool.
Yeah.
I agree.
You know. So I think that there is a cusp of like what counts cool enough for ball python people to get the ball python, and so that's why maybe it's dying, because you can't exceed a threshold of what people think are cool.
So do we think Kevin McCurley saying that ball pythons have run its course, is that real or is that fake?
I think, depending on what he means, because I didn't listen to him, I think to an extent he is right. Like, a lot of people are about to probably fall off, gonna have to sell all their shit and have new dreams, motherfuckers.
For real.
Dream again, bitch.
I think he might be seeing the cusp of a plateau, but it hasn't plateaued yet. And like I said before, the only animal that's going to cut out ball pythons are going to be crested geckos.
I also feel like within the industry, like at least we're like in Florida, I've seen a lot of movement away from ball pythons. Within the industry itself, like away from it, to the point where like we see ball pythons and we're like, the fuck are you doing over there?
Especially since in Florida we have the access to more animals than like say Midwest.
It's almost like if you go to a reptile person in Florida and like general area that is not a ball python person, they literally think you're silly.
Yeah.
Like you're not telling me anything.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I breed ball pythons.
Forgot about silly.
Yeah. I think this guy's gonna be like, oh, I breed ball pythons, and they're gonna look at you like, good for you, like a 5-year-old could do it. Yeah. You know, like, I don't know, it's just gone. It's just not a trend anymore. Yeah. Like even social media wise, they're not a trend.
Yeah.
Like
I've always found that interesting.
They're not a trend.
They're so popular, but nobody cares. No one cares about
it. Dude, I try so hard
fuck.
to fucking make something happen with my ball pythons, and it never does.
It's not a trend. Like nobody gives a fuck. You know how many other people are doing it?
They're too casual. It's too casual of a pet for people to care like that.
Oh my god, he hatched ball pythons. Good shit. Next. Swipe again. Next motherfucker did it. Next motherfucker did it.
It's like car content. You know, you see a lot of Civics or Accords getting a lot of views.
No,
but most people probably have them.
Yeah, you go down Kissimmee.
Oh my god!
you go down to Kissimmee. You're walking through reels, motherfucker.
Every stop, like,
for real.
Yeah, it's exactly that. I think like
it's too normal.
They used to be cool.
Yeah,
they used to be cool, and they're not cool. They're just. Stepping stone, and then the people in it are a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey.
They got replaced by the little tiny tropical jungle boxes.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna be honest, even the jumping spiders are more popular right now, bro.
There's no way.
Oh my god.
Yeah, all these ball python motherfuckers about to breed spiders, bro.
So bad.
Dude, I'm trying to find one of the topics that we have, and I'm pretty sure the reel that we were gonna look at, she took down the fucking reel.
What was it?
The Miasminizoo one?
Oh, no, I have it.
You have it? Can you pull it up?
I can't pull it up.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up
you
this one.
You checked in the chat?
Yeah.
It's also related to ball pythons.
Where did all the pythons come from? Ici, c'était une grande forêt. Ouida, c'était de la forêt, c'était de la brousse. Le python habitait ici depuis toujours. Le python vit avec la population. La population vit avec le python.
Ball pythons are totally awesome, right? We've all had one, or maybe we have 5 at home. We absolutely adore them. But there's some bad information out there that conservationists put out in order to pull on the heartstrings of people. Don't get me wrong, I'm all about conserving nature. I love animals to death, and I want them to flourish in the wild. But I do not like when they manipulate facts to make people feel bad for animals that really have a different story than what they're putting out. What is up, everybody? It's Sam here from Snakesonsam, and I'm here with Gizmo, my captive bred ball python.
I would like to show you some pictures now on my phone, if that's okay. These images were taken at a reptile expo in America, and this is how people are selling pythons and taking care of them.
This is not as factual as it looks. Let me explain. The ball pythons at the Reptile Expo are captive bred, and they have most likely been in breeding programs for a very, very long time. How do I know this? Well, they're colored, right? Do you see a difference between the color of the native ball pythons and the ones at the Reptile Expo? Those are color morphs, and if those occur naturally, they don't survive very long, and most of those can't even occur naturally. Sure, you can say that they came from wild populations, and yes, I do really think that we have taken too much from the wild because they are near threatened now, but the ones you see at the Reptile Expo are meant to be pets and they would not survive in the wild. To give you a comparison, it's like domesticated dogs and wolves. You're not going to say that domesticated dogs should go live with wolves because probably that wouldn't be a very good idea for the dog. He wouldn't know what to do. And yes, unfortunately, that can be true that there are still wild populations coming in from the outside world into breeding programs. But for the most part, what you find at reptile shows are not wild animals. A more accurate and realistic argument this conservationist could have made was the importance of captive bred and knowing where you get your animals from versus just buying an animal and not knowing if it's picked from the wild. All breeders know the origins of their animals and they can tell you whether or not they're captive bred.
There was so much to unpack from that video, so I just sent it to you guys because I was like, I don't even know where to begin. I commented on that video to ask what the original documentary was. I never received an answer.
I paid attention.
Oh, you've seen it before?
I've seen it before.
I never received the answer.
So it's pretty much the guy goes out and he's doing, I don't remember what he's part of, some PETA type of shit.
Is it for ball pythons?
Yeah, it's about ball pythons, and he goes out and he sees like where the ball pythons, like the process of ball pythons to the point to where they come here, right? From what I remember, they kept them in like dirty ass tubs and shit, like multiple together, whatever. Yeah,
like here.
Yeah. So, I think like she has to realize a lot of the things that she might not be able to see that they don't allow her to see. Like a lot of ball pythons do still come from the wild. You might not see them at the show.
160 of them.
Mind you, they're at the shows. For sure, they're at the shows.
Yeah.
But also, you might not get the snake that came from the wild. But breeders always need quote unquote new blood. And the motherfuckers that got money bring in the new blood, and the babies of the new blood is what you get.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know. Could be super wrong. Mm-hmm. I don't know of any of the quote unquote big breeders.
I do.
No, wait, that are bringing in, that are trying to put new blood?
Yes.
Define what you think a big breeder is.
What? Like somebody known that has like multiple animals, like
that is the head of the industry.
He's not the head, but he's not the, he works. He works with the head.
Hey, pause, buddy. What are we talking about? That got a little weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's only dinkers.
I don't know because
it's only dinkers.
I feel I'm not gonna. No, not the.
Only work with dinkers.
That's what I'm saying. The dinker part, I understand. Where it's like.
Oh well, if for the people that don't know what a dinker is, it's basically a wild ball python that has a little bit of weird pattern to it.
That's what I'm saying. But they're
you
not
can
like
upsell for like $100 because it's new blood.
They're not gonna shoot themselves in the foot because like. Breeding it to a normal.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's working
If it's
backwards.
a dinker, I get it.
It is working backwards.
Quote new blood because it's better.
I guess,
for them.
for
it's
that.
All bullshit. It's all bullshit.
But that's not. I'd say that avenue is not for new blood. That avenue is for chasing the next project.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not because of the new blood. And I get what you're saying.
That's what people say. That's what they like. Whenever you watch their videos or you hear these people talk, it's like, I just need new blood.
Yeah, they use that as an excuse.
That's the excuse.
It's an ugly.
Anyway, sorry.
Excuse.
Continue your thought.
So I think like she is not aware of the things that cause that person to make that video. Mind you, of course, like people don't keep ball pythons in those little plastic containers. They're like double the size, if that.
At least.
You know,
mansion, bro.
like I don't know. I think you gotta look into it, and Google will not help you. You would have to see it.
I'm gonna make a visual analogy. There's a difference between the pet keepers and the people in the industry that are on that side of the table versus on this side of the table.
Yes,
Okay?
absolutely.
It's a different world when you're at a reptile show and you're walking in the aisles and sitting behind the tables. There's a huge difference. And from her opinions, it sounds like she's an aisle walker. You know, she is not behind the table.
I mean, I don't know who she is, to be honest.
I don't know either.
She's a big Instagrammer.
Okay,
And in respect to her as well, like you might not know.
I don't think her opinion was like bad or anything.
No, it's not invalid.
I think that a lot of those kinds of videos of the what this guy was shooting, it's like a lot of the times it's hit pieces.
Yeah, that's what he wanted. At the end of that video, I remember like the end of it was very like all of it is bad type of deal.
No.
Yeah, like but like for like something to tell her would be like, I think she's way too far on this side. The guy's way too far on that side, and the truth is right here.
Always in the middle.
It's always like
That's
that.
why I sit on the fence, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm always right.
It's right there. It's right in the middle because those things still happen. Like, I've seen it happen. We've all seen it happen.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Shut the fuck up, ball python breeder.
No, I've never done that.
Like those things do happen, and that's just reality of the business. She said that the ball pythons are near threat and in the wild. I wonder why.
And see, that's one of my biggest gripes with sometimes people in the hobby, and maybe it's an aisle walker thing because they don't know, but it's like they don't want to acknowledge the sins,
like
and even if they haven't done
denial.
the sins, they're there because of the sins of past things. It's the same thing with zoos. I think zoos, for the most part, have acknowledged that, you know, stuff happened in the past that shouldn't have happened, bad things. But at this point, they're like, hey, we're working with conservation efforts. We're working with SSPs. We're trying to, you know,
The zoos clean up
make
their
it
acts.
back. Yeah,
whereas
yeah.
the
They're
reptile-
trying to clean it up.
The
They're
reptile
like, hey,
industry
you know,
really
this is bad. The reptile
hasn't done
industry
much.
Does not want
Clean
to.
hands.
They're
Yeah,
like,
clean
no,
hands.
we don't do that. No, ball pythons are in danger because something else. African man opens up.
yeah.
I want to pull up Miasminizoo thing. Actually, yeah. So while they're looking that up,
Reptiles with protein pancakes.
reptiles with protein pancakes. Everybody these days, especially Tyler behind the camera, loves to roast me for my fucking protein pancakes.
Well, I liked it. It was good.
All right, I'm fucking taking AG1. I'm fucking doing Alpha Brain.
Shut up.
Our community has no scammers, then I'm dead. And you know what? Honestly, at this point, I have to respect the hustle because they will say anything to make a sale. Ball pythons are solitary creatures, which means that they need to live alone in their own separate enclosures. Now, this salesperson used the phrase bonded pair in an attempt to make the buyer want to buy 2 snakes as opposed to 1 at the fear of them being sad once they're separated. Sick. And I love that they use the term bonded pair because what animals do we know that come in bonded pairs? Cats, birds, dogs. So the thought of 2 ball pythons being a bonded pair does not seem so far-fetched. The only time a vendor should be trying to sell you a pair of ball pythons is if they're a breeding pair, meaning that they'll most likely try to sell you a male ball python and a female ball python who have in the past produced a successful clutch of eggs. But trying to convince a buyer that 2 ball pythons are inseparable and one's going to be sad when you buy the other and leave the other one behind is complete bullshit. In summary, ball pythons are a solitary species and they need to be housed in their own enclosures unless you're planning on breeding them. So if someone tries to tell you that one will be sad without the other, you could tell them to go off.
That's funny.
I tried to,
Dude,
at the old job. I
the
tried my
last
best,
show
but-
that I went to, I had somebody that wanted to buy a blue-eyed Lucy, and they were telling me like, "Oh, can 2 live together?" So I told him, I was like, "I don't recommend that. I don't think that that's a good idea." And he's like, but then he started like questioning me, like if I was trying to like hide secret information or like if I was wrong, and I'm like, you don't have to buy this snake. Like, I could tell you yes, and then you just buy this snake, and I make money, and then something bad happens to your thing. But I tell them, I'm like, well, they can cannibalize, they can not thrive, they can fight over resources. Like, what is it that you want? Like, I don't think that that's worth it for you. I don't want to sell you the snake because then you're just going to get back on me that it didn't work for you. Like, it's, I don't know why people are so like hesitant to understand some of this shit.
Also, for me too, like, I don't know the context. I don't know if this vendor actually tried to convince someone that they needed to be together. But for me, it's like when someone tells me a bonded pair, I'm like, okay, they've been paired already. They are okay being with each other because sometimes
I would say you and I are a bonded pair.
Sometimes animals can be sexually selective. They're like, hey, I don't fuck with this male. I don't fuck with this female. I don't want to go ahead
What more for you?
No, but it happens.
I don't like this more.
They can be selective. So like I get
so
that. At the same time, when you say a bonded pair, it's like, okay, they're okay with each other.
Yeah.
That's cool. Not living together, but they have bred before, they've paired up before. That's what that means to me. I don't know that. I don't know the context for that.
Yeah.
I don't know if someone actually tried to sell that off. And I mean,
I think people do, but that sounds like some Craigslist
Yeah. That's the people that don't know what they're talking
about. The specific context of that situation was very not professional.
I think she just didn't like the word bonded.
Yeah, or she might just be thinking of things that have happened, and she just compiled a whole bunch of things that happened in the past. Because I've seen that same exact wording on Craigslist when I was younger. Yeah. I've seen it.
It's people who
I don't bonded remember pairs. You were searching for bonded pairs on Craigslist.
Yeah, dude.
And she raised a good point with other animals that say bonded pairs, especially pairs that mate for life. You say bonded to be like, hey, these two belong together. They're not going to mate with anybody else. Makes sense. Reptiles are not like that. So.
Yeah, but I could see maybe a seller that's in a rush or desperate to make some kind of wording that makes sense.
Just some bullshit.
At that point, just give them a deal.
Ball pythons fell off. Shut up.
Fuck you. What is it that said? It's run its course.
Yeah, it's run its course. It's over. No more ball pythons, guys.
So funny, dude. Eric, where the hell did you go? All right, he's taking Nyla outside. We got the fucking red eye, fucking Ruby Hawk right here sitting in the middle of us.
Eric's
the legend.
Other pet.
Yeah. All right. I think it's time for us to talk about these lights. But before we do that, the Reptiles with Coffee, buy our merch, support the fucking team, join the memberships. I'm pulling up the members right now.
I saw some people use our things. That was funny.
If you're a member, you get emojis.
That's funny.
Emojis of us.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
I saw it on the last one.
Yeah, I made them. I was real hyped about it. I was like, yeah, dude, look at us.
Fire.
Yeah. But so, and also thank you to the members for supporting us, and honestly a lot of the comments that we've been getting, and I it feels nice to have the community.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, so it's lights time, guys. This is the hot topic.
Turn on the lights.
Well, hey, look, Nerd is back to doing what Nerd does best. Fear mongering.
No, they did not fear. They did not. Okay, this is the thing. I don't
fear mongering with what? What part?
Okay, wait.
With the
Let's get there.
Turn on the
lights.
Let me fucking intro this shit.
Go.
All right. So the government is trying to take away our animals
by attacking our care requirements.
Yeah. The government's like, well, we can't take away the animals, but we can take away everything the animals need.
So we have to support you as hard. That's our only help.
It sucks for the Northerners because we have it good down here.
You're so dumb. All right.
What about the light outside, bro?
Oh, they're gonna take away the sun.
All right. Joking aside. Okay. So I saw Darian from Morph Market posted this. Apparently, ZoomEd got a notice from the U.S. Department of Energy. I'm going to read what the notice says, to whom it may concern. Well, I think this is from ZoomEd, actually. On May 10th, ZoomEd received notice from the U.S. Department of Energy that the following ZoomEd products have been determined to be general service lamps, in quotations, GSLs. You have DSLs, Eric, anyways.
What?
You don't got to know what that is. Dick sucking lips. Anyways, so these GSLs do not meet a minimum efficiency standard of 45 lumens per watt. The products are pretty much the majority of the reptile basking spot lamps, the halogen lamps, the mega compacts, the avian sun, Repti-Sun, ultra sun, and the paludarium ones.
So they are taking the sun.
As a,
What the fuck?
As a result, ZoomEd has been directed to and has immediately ceased distribution of all of these. As the department's GSL's efficiency standards enforcement policies extend to retailers of the subject models, customers, contact ZoomEd or whatever.
Okay. So before we get into the fear mongering of it,
oh my god,
let me go ahead and explain what these lights things mean, because the amount of people that don't understand what lights do is insane.
Yeah.
If you guys want a longer version, go to Reptiles and Research. They have fantastic videos about lighting and heating your animals.
We're also I'm gonna show a video that I clipped from Tipping Scales that he talks about the timeline and stuff like that. Yeah.
So that's another thing.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a second. There's the difference in incandescent bulbs. There's the difference in heating bulbs, ceramic heat emitters, LEDs. All of these are different things. Some of them only produce light. Some of them only produce heat. Some of them produce different types of heat. And some of them produce the right types of heat for your reptiles.
And different heat waves.
Exactly. The right, proper, the best bulb that you can use, and this is general because not all reptiles are the same. The best general bulb you can use is a halogen flood lamp. Because the way that works is it produces infrared A, infrared B, and a little bit of infrared C, which is replicating the sun as best as we can in an artificial form. And it also produces LEDs, so actual visible light. With that said, the U.S. government years ago decided to no longer, and Europe has been on this like years before, to no longer produce halogen and incandescent bulbs because of the energy output. They use up way too much energy and they expend way too much heat that the U.S. government of energy, and I mean anybody who's into climate change and the environment, is like, let's just switch to LEDs. You know, you could get the same amount of LEDs from a 30-watt halogen in a 5-watt LED. It makes sense, you know, if you're lighting up your house, it makes sense. Granted, health benefits aside, because yes, LEDs can give headaches if you're under that too long. Obviously, we know what phones do to our brains. You know,
what do they do?
They interrupt sleep cycles. They make you depressed.
Is that why my fucking memory is bad and I have to take Alpha Brain?
Plug. Anyway, so
not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Please, your own.
Yeah. So, like, besides all that points, the U.S. government wants to switch over to LEDs, and so they've banned the manufacturing of these bulbs. They have not banned the usage of these bulbs, and they have not banned the importation of these bulbs. Now, from what I understood, Arcadia is a European company, and they make these bulbs. Mm-hmm. They actually have factories here in the United States, but I think I don't know if you still are able to ship from Arcadia. But what I know about the situation, I remember years ago when it first happened, and everybody was like, rush to Lowe's, rush to Home Depot, to Walmart to grab up the last bits of halogen flood lamps because they're not going to make them anymore. I remember that. I even participated myself because I'm like, I gotta get the lamps. Those are the best lamps. I use them for my stuff. And so, like, a lot of people at that time were also saying, like, hey, it's not going to hit reptile-specific branding. I specifically remember that. They were like, hey, these lamps aren't for general use. They're for hobby. They're for animal maintenance, whatever. They're separate. They're protected. The people at Zoomed and Arcadia and all the other light companies, Zilla, whoever, Exoterra, decided, I guess, not to initially make it the case because they did LEDs for plants. They said, yeah, plant lights, whatever you want, those ones are protected. Lights for appliances are protected. They can still use incandescents and halogens, whatever. Just not for general use. You can't buy them at a store. The animal people thought they were just going to be protected anyways. They thought the U.S. government was competent enough to do it on their own.
Should I just play Tipping Scales video now? Because it's pretty much a lot of what you just covered.
Yeah.
Let's do that. It's going to be like, I was able to clip about a minute and a half of it.
Bet.
The fear of this actually happening has been going on for years. I remember it being a big talking point last year when suddenly all of the incandescent lights and halogen lights were removed. Everyone was worried that reptile lighting would be included or would be next. But the reassurance we all got and gave each other was that this didn't include special purpose bulbs. This began all the way back in March of 2016 when the U.S. Department of Energy first proposed rulemaking to tackle the question of whether or not to amend the energy conservation standard for general service lighting. In 2017, definitions for what is general service lighting, what are the exemptions to this, and what the new standards should be were drawn up. These standards, such as the 45 lumen per watt rule max, were decided would go into effect at least 3 years after the rule was published. In 2020 and 2021, amendments were made to the rule to further clarify what types of lamps were included in this list and which were not. What was not specified as exempt were specialty lamps for animal welfare. So in August of 2023, just last year, the general public became a little bit more aware when the ban went into actual effect, making it illegal to manufacture and sell incandescent and halogen bulbs. That fell within the GSL definition within the US. There were two reactions to this. One had people panicking about what they were going to do for their reptiles, and the other was to reassure everybody that reptile lights don't fall under GSL. And so that's why there was no specific exemption for the ruling. Some people even went as far as to say, it's just like grow lights. The argument was that grow lights are labeled for a specific purpose, and so they don't fall under general service lighting. But if you read the document, grow lights are specifically listed as exempt, where reptile lights are not. My point is, if we were really paying close attention, we had a lot of time to do something about this.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
It's true. It's facts. Granted, not all lights are hit. You will still be able to buy some kind of lighting for your reptiles. And
as far as we
at
know.
some point, and hopefully at some point they still some litigation at this point late in the game where you can still buy these lamps. But that doesn't mean, now to the fear-mongering, freaking 2020 pandemic, go ahead and buy out all the lights imaginable at your local reptile stores.
And also, Zoomed is right now working with the U.S. Department of Energy to try to figure a lot of that stuff out.
Reclassify their stuff.
Exactly, they have to.
Yeah. Now, Kevin's video, it was with Andy Gabbs, and I know you were saying fear-mongering. I don't think it was fear-mongering. I think that they're afraid, and therefore they made a video.
Oh, and then they were like, guys, look at all these light products that I sell. Please come buy them.
Well, no, this is the thing. Wait. I understand how you could make that like connection, because it could come off like that. But I found it funny how like so opposite Tipping Scales and Nerd's video was.
Yeah.
Because Tipping Scales was like, hey, no, do not go rush and freak out and go buy a lot of stuff.
And also
because,
self-observant, like, hey, we messed up.
Yeah,
we didn't do it
and
right.
he was saying like think about when toilet paper was going, like everybody was buying toilet paper. I bought boxes and boxes of toilet
You're
paper.
insane.
Yeah, but I had a connection. It was different. I wasn't getting it from the store. I had it from
toilet paper.
I'll tell you.
You had a toilet paper plug.
I literally did. I made a video I put it on my channel, and I was like, oh, reptile unboxing, and I was like, yo, this is the rarest thing I've ever gotten. It was like peak COVID,
funny.
and then I opened it, and it was a bunch of toilet paper. It was funny. Anyways, so he was saying, he's like, respect the other keepers too, where like you don't want to sell it out because then the other keepers aren't going to have shit for their animals, you know. But then on Nerd's video, it was like, go out and buy your shit right now.
This guy is falling.
Look at my very shelves. They're right there. For real.
Yeah. Joking aside, though, I don't think that. I think we're going to be okay. I think we're very fortunate in that we're in Florida where we can keep a lot of the stuff outside.
We're chilling.
Yeah.
Crested geckos outside?
Yeah.
They outside.
Yeah.
Blue tongues?
Outside, dude.
Outside.
Ball pythons in racks. They're good.
And see, that's another thing too. That's another thing too, is that amongst other heating options, halogen flood lamps are the best.
Yeah.
They are the best. And so like if people who have, racks, ceramic heat emitters, heat panels, incandescent bulbs, all the other ones are not sufficient. They are sufficient. They're just not the best lights for your animals. And if you want to give your animals the best lighting
this is
possible,
what I was going to ask you guys.
You
guys that you worked specifically in a reptile store, what would you recommend as a product that is not available in the store that you're just like, no, you can still go out and get this?
In terms of
Legally
lighting
now?
itself?
Yeah, legally.
Legally?
Yeah. Like, if you had to choose another option now and everything that's been mentioned is gone, what do you pick?
You still have heat pads and all that
Heat
other
pads.
stuff?
Okay, but,
I keep mostly snakes, so it's heat pads.
Okay, but for a lizard, a bearded dragon.
Put it
For a
outside.
bearded dragon?
Yeah, if you're not in Florida, dude, what are you gonna do?
Tino.
North Dakota?
Tino.
They're gonna put a bearded dragon outside in North Dakota?
Too bad.
That's the thing. Like
In Canada?
What
This
other
is my
options
problem.
are there?
US.
This is my problem. This is my problem with it.
Okay.
You're at a holdable state. We're at the best state in the United States. You're in a holdable state. That's your problem.
You live in
That's not
fucking
my problem.
Ohio.
Let's go!
God damn, bro.
Fucking California, dry ass. Come on, bro.
You can keep a
Because
bearded
like
dragon in California.
you can't.
No, it's too dry.
You
I
probably
think
could
too
get
dry.
away with it, but it's not enough. You can't put a bearded dragon in with a ceramic heat emitter. Like it's just not. It's not the
what
best thing
about
for it.
those new bulbs that Zoom had made?
They also need
the heat
UVB.
The DP projectors. I love the DP projectors.
That's
Do
still
those
legal.
work?
no. That's part of the law.
Oh,
Yeah.
so all the cool stuff is gone.
Yeah. You know what's not part of it? Halogen bulbs. Not
Yeah, they
halogen
are.
Bulbs. Yeah. Not halogens. Mercury vapor. Mercury vapor bulbs.
$80 bulbs. Though.
Yeah. Oh, actually, there we go.
But what if
Mercury vapor bulbs are going to be the best.
What if Mercury is in retrograde?
I hate you.
That's not a real thing.
I hate you.
What if Mercury is in Gatorade?
Nope. Okay. It's a Gatorade.
You know what's crazy, Eric, is that if you sold this light right now, you'd make a lot of money.
Yeah, I know.
Technically, at this point, people need to be buying like stoves and they just taking the bulbs off.
You're so dumb.
I think
That's
he's
crazy.
onto something.
Yeah.
that's
So
what
you
you
were
do.
saying about Mercury vapor.
Yes, mercury vapor bulbs are
Yeah.
the ones that they didn't hit because those aren't general use. Nobody is putting mercury
Yeah.
vapor bulbs in their freaking dining room tables. And so like you could use those. They're okay. The only thing is I don't like that they emit UVA and UVB on top of light and LED. So
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, I'd rather have full control of the LED separately than having a singular
It's
bulb
also
for both.
a $70 bulb.
I mean, yeah, but you're getting all of it. The only thing
but
is that
it's
they
a
can't
bulb.
regulate it. They can't, like, if you put a mercury vapor on a chameleon, the chameleon's like, yeah, I want UVB, but I don't want to be 90 degrees right now.
Oh, true.
It's also a bulb. If it drops,
And so you'll have to get the
You
mercury
wouldn't-
vapor
you-
and
you-
then a UVB bulb.
You wouldn't be able to add layers to the enclosure and change that?
And put the lights
There's
inside
ways
the
around
No,
enclosure.
make like you know how the lights at the top make layers at the bottom. what my friend Peter calls multi-layer basking.
Oh yeah. You could do that. You need a huge space for that and some nice lights. But yeah, that's possible.
Oh, God forbid we give good space to our animals.
Exactly. I know, right? Yeah, for real.
Ball python breeders.
The thing with lizards too is they can regulate how much, chameleons especially, they can regulate how much UVB they're intaking. So they're kind of fine.
So what is our final take on this lighting situation?
It sucks. I think that at some point, this seems like not like a US ARC situation, because honestly, I don't think there's much that US ARC really can do about much of anything.
How much you want to bet they're gonna be like, dude, give us some money?
But I know that huge corporations, money talks. ZoomEd, Arcadia, Zilla, Exoterra, all those companies get together and say, hey, we need to go ahead and start this litigation to put reptile lighting into special use. It's gonna happen.
I don't think the government's even gonna try and give a big fight to that.
They won't.
Just because they don't even know we exist. I think that's what happened. They're like, okay, what do we use bulbs for? We have such a small scale, such a small amount of people that buy bulbs regularly.
Yep.
Like, we're invisible to the world.
Exactly.
So they're like making laws, not thinking about us, because again, we're invisible. And then now ZoomEd is gonna come over and they're like, oh shit, you exist?
Yeah.
Ah, shit, my bad. Let's see what we can do. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Unless, because this is another thing, what if the government goes, okay, you can make it just for the reptile motherfuckers, but then the companies or the what is it called? Where they make the bulbs?
Manufacturers.
Like the manufacturers or the factories go like, we're not going to waste our time on a few bulbs.
Yeah.
That could also happen.
That could also happen.
A lot of these bulbs are already made in Germany and all these other places.
Yeah.
So that's just stopping what's being made in the States. Mm-hmm. We're still allowed to get stuff from Europe, no?
We don't know.
Yeah, you can still import.
Well,
if they're illegal, I don't think so. Because then
you can buy them, not from American companies.
No, I don't think you could buy them at all.
Why not?
Because how many bulbs do you think they're made in other countries and they're sold at Walmart?
2.
They're blocking all of them.
2. It was only 2.
No, I don't
blocking
think
all
anything
of them.
stops it. You're just buying from specific companies off their
then
websites.
What is? Listen to your logic right now.
Yeah.
If we're trying to save energy and all this bullshit on not using those products, why would we allow the products to come from somewhere else for us to use?
But here's the same logic. Here's the same logic. The U.S. government decides, hey, we're no longer going to be selling plastic bags. Yeah, the U.S. government's like, we're no longer allowed, or we're no longer going to be selling or manufacturing plastic bags. And then all of a sudden, it's like, no, you cannot buy plastic bags from a website off of Mexico.
I mean, we don't know. You can. Is that what they said? Is that what you read? Because if they're freaking out, I don't know. Because if anything, ZoomEd could just bring the bulbs from somewhere else.
The U.S. Department of Energy does not speak for Mexico or Britain. You can still order them, no problem. Nobody's going to give a fuck.
No, I'm not sure.
All right. Yeah,
I'm not sure. Let's move on before I get
I'm not
angry.
concerned.
We're about to give the Thylacine update, but we're going to watch a couple things about de-extinction, and then we'll hit the Thylacine update. All right?
Oh, no, don't look at me like that.
All right, let's fucking do this.
So the quoll is a critically endangered marsupial. They kind of look like Bambi of the marsupial world. They are absolutely beautiful little animals. And they're carnivores, so they eat meat. They particularly like frogs and other small lizards and things. And unfortunately in Australia, we have a toxic toad that was an introduced species into Australia. So this is the cane toad. And because it's a recently introduced species, none of our animals have resistance to this poison that this frog produces. And so the quoll eats the cane toad and then they die from the toxin that it produces. So everything that we've done to try and save the quoll has failed. But one of the things that we started looking at was, can we actually edit their DNA to make them resistant to the cane toads? So there's one gene in the genome for conferring this resistance, and it's just 2 of the amino acids, so 2 tiny little bits of the sequence that are different in an animal that's completely resistant to cane toad toxin. What we did was, as a proof of principle to show that this would work, is we took our fat-tailed Dunnart stem cells that we've made as part of the Thylacine project, and we engineered those 2 changes into those Dunnart cells. Once we've done that, we can actually expose those cells to the toxin that comes from cane toad. And for the cells that we've put those edits in, we can put 100 times higher level of bufatoxin into that culture medium, and those cells still survive. Know that if we don't do anything for the quoll, in 10 plus years, that animal will no longer exist. But we have the ability through our DNA editing technology, marsupial conservation, and other technologies that we've created with Colossal to actually edit those cells to create an animal that is resistant to that cane toad toxin. So we've been able to show unequivocally now that that edit is actually creating a cane toad resistant marsupial. And so the next part of this now is to actually get some stem cells growing from quolls, make the changes to the quoll cells, and then to actually turn those cells back into whole living animals so we can make cane toad toxin resistant quolls. And then this is a phenomenal conservation effort, because this is really the only way that we're going to save the quoll, and it will 100% save the quoll from extinction being able to do this. But also they can then actually eat the cane toads. So not only does it save the quoll, but it will hopefully then weaponize our native wildlife, if you like, to actually help control this invasive pest species and reduce the number of cane toads in the environment. So everything behind this science is 100% conservation. So whether it's
Tino's got opinions.
A lot of information.
All right, hit it.
I'll start with a broad general thing. I think it is already too late for this kind of science or this kind of conservation, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many animals you put back in the wild if we're not protecting our wild spaces. So it doesn't matter if you go ahead and start making more Tasmanian tigers if there's no protection of New Guinea or Australia. So at the very least, there need to be protections of land. That needs to come first. If you can't do that, then this is just...
I always come first. Sorry, continue.
This is just a lot of money and efforts going into essentially something that would fail if nothing changes. So that's my first impression.
How are those places not protected?
I'm saying as long as they're protected.
How are they not protected?
I'm not saying that they're not. I'm saying as long as they are.
Then it's not a failed or too late if there are places protected.
No, because there were reasons those animals went extinct. There were reasons those animals don't exist anymore. But if you don't get rid of the cane toads, they're still going to keep eating cane toads. But
you introduced the gene over the years. Genetics.
But that's the one species. It doesn't affect the other. What about the animals that the quoll eats? The other animals.
It can affect it if they bring the numbers down. Because if not, you're just saying let's do nothing. Protect land for the cane toad.
No, right. If it's a solution that can also get rid of a current problem. Hey,
that's what he said though. He said
this is an instance for one species. Is that the same case with the dodo bird, the Thylacine, woolly mammoths?
No.
Those are two different videos, two different arguments.
Yeah. So that was my first impressions. Other than that, I think that's fucking sick. I also think that we need to be insanely careful, because yes, as much as we don't want to believe human beings are natural anymore, the ecosystem right now no longer has those animals, and so at this point, natural selection and the environment is trying to adapt to the absence of those animals. Yep. If all of a sudden you reintroduce those animals, you might fuck it up again. You might fuck it up in a different way.
I think because of how selfish human beings are.
No.
And how much of a piece of shit we are, if we bring back a thylacine or a group of thylacines, they will not touch the wild.
I could see that happening.
I mean,
they will not touch the wild, bro.
It depends who has them.
Not if Eric has anything to say about it.
Yes, I agree. If big corporations are what's funding this, then it's going to go to zoos.
Even then, bro, like, I'm going to release this thylacine, government pushback, because they know what's behind it.
Yeah.
Like, motherfucker, you're in Australia, you got a thylacine? Shit.
You're going?
We about to make some money out of this motherfucker over there. You know what I mean?
For real.
If alligators went extinct and out of nowhere, you brought alligators back, fucking whoever the fuck the president is fucking Trump from prison will be like, yo, hold that motherfucker. When I come out, I'm going to make some money.
Especially when it comes to an apex predator or megafauna like that. It's like that changes landscapes. That changes food chains. A single season, like if let's say you take what's an apex predator?
Me.
Where?
Yeah, Joshua.
No.
Sabertooth.
Let's do something now, like
Eric.
Lions. Let's say you go ahead and remove lions from the savannah. Right? Within one season, that changes the environment. Within one season, because now all those animals that would have been eaten by those lions, it's not the same anymore. 2 seasons even worse. Because now those ones that survived the year before are now able to produce offspring that won't get eaten.
But what about in the instance of Australia? Because there isn't really a big predator besides the dingo, there is a lot of... It's not going to solve the issue. It's not going to solve the issue.
The dingo's not natural.
Well, but that's all they have, what I'm saying.
Not native, doesn't count.
All right, so even better. It's not even natives. Out there in Australia, there isn't really much of an apex predator besides the dingo.
Dingus.
And there's a lot of problems with
What do you
kangaroo
mean?
population.
There's monitors?
Okay, the monitor's taking out fucking kangaroos and pigs.
Yeah, they're taking the roles
on the regular.
That's my point. That's my
On
point.
the regular.
The environment.
I don't know about the
The
regular.
environment has
But
not
at
had-
least once.
The environment has not had decades to respond to.
What
an
I'm trying
absence
to
of an
what I'm trying to
apex
get to
predator.
is, for example, with the pigs in Australia and even here in the States, we have the same
Damn,
problem.
that's fucked
They
up.
start ruining the landscape, like with whatever they do, dredging, whatever with their noses. I forget what it's called, but pigs do that to
Ruining?
that shit. When they're out there ruining the fucking grass that everything needs to eat.
Yeah.
Basically. If we bring back something big enough to
You know what? Keep on.
No, I know what you're saying.
Go.
Okay, so
in this
no, I mean,
me, bro.
Yeah, so how many?
I'll jump in and help you all
No,
after.
no.
Keep going,
This
keep
is
going,
my
keep going.
fight.
No, keep going. But I have something to add. I have something to add. Go ahead.
There's nothing in Australia to compete or to help cull the population of too many kangaroos and too many hogs. And even in Australia, there's a horrible problem with like just too many like animals. And you go out
Camels.
there, huh?
Camels.
Well, camels is one thing, but not even
They're
the
a problem.
Thylacines not taking out
look,
the
and when you
camels,
also think about it,
We
like
don't know. We don't know, bro.
like when you also think about it, like the environment started to adapt or to try to change at the decline of the Thylacine, not when they went extinct. Once they started seeing less and less with each generation, it didn't start when no more Thylacine, no more apex predator. It started at the beginning when there was less and less of
And I
them.
feel you could
so
even argue-
longer. There have been generations of animals that have not had to deal with this. Now all of a sudden you're introducing that into an environment. I don't know the impact. We want to say that it's just going to go back to normal eventually.
I don't think it'll go back to
eventually the
normal.
predators
What
will go
if-
up, they'll bounce back out.
What if
But we have
you
no
bring
idea.
in a Thylacine and you feed it cane toads from birth? And
kill
then
it.
You release them. And they're like just going out there.
Look,
That's
and
fire.
maybe
I've thought about it, honestly. That would be
because
cool.
I'm not
We have
I'm
to
not
find
a-
a Thylacine first.
I got
I'm
you.
not one of these. I'm not one of these scientists. I'm not
We
an
know this.
ecological surveyor. Ecological surveyor.
You're just a yapper.
I'm just a yapper.
We're all just
I'm a
yappers.
pessimist. I'm a pessimist. Is
What
what
did
I
you
am.
call me?
So all I can think about, and yes, this is pessimistic, is Ian Malcolm. Life finds a
Whoa,
way.
that's all you think
that's not
about?
wrong.
yeah.
though.
That's
That's
all I
not
think
a
about.
wrong way
And
to
it's like,
think.
you know what? Sometimes things just go wrong. You can't be. It can't be
The
perfect.
Thylacines in San
no,
Diego.
but I think there are so many changes to the environment happening back to back that this addition
Yeah.
I don't think would affect much. It's like right now the hog situation. Like there's a whole bunch of hogs by where I work.
love a
right
good
now.
hog.
Like they're
Yeah.
literally everywhere.
Gotcha, we got Thylacines
And
for you.
Imagine motherfucker, bring the panther back. If there was like
Damn.
panther numbers, that would be the predator to try and bring those numbers back down. But because
Yeah.
we don't have it, hogs are up, deer is up.
Yeah.
But if you bring the panther back.
Yeah,
I love
Panthers.
hogs will get fucked up, and then of course deer here and there, but the hogs will get
Yeah,
fucked.
rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman.
Well, what about let's say not a apex predator.
The panther.
Let's go a little bit lower down the food chain.
you reintroduced the raccoon.
No. Let's go lower down the food chain and say a dodo bird. Okay, you're introducing a new prey item. All of a sudden, this new prey item in a new environment, in a new ecosystem, contracts new diseases. Boom! Now it kills all of its predators. All the
up.
new. We don't know. That stuff can happen. For instance,
But that's the thing. Like you're thinking they're gonna reproduce these things and just straight up go to the
No,
wild.
right,
They're
right.
not.
They have
They're
to-
not.
it's
These
gonna-
things, they're gonna bring them in and they're gonna put them in a fucking zoo. They're gonna be like, "This is Jurassic Park with a fucking mammoth,
Yeah, for real,
motherfucker.
for real.
Have fun." That's what they're gonna do, bro.
the
We
mammoth
laugh
one,
about it,
the
but
mammoth one
it's-
is very interesting to me because of its effects on climate change. The mammoth, bringing back a woolly mammoth, could curb, not 100% because humans are fantastic.
So now you sound like me.
could curb climate change to an extent, because of
It
the
depends
role
where
that they
you put
play
'em at.
on the like, what is it called?
San Diego Zoo.
No, like what is it called when it's like sub-frozen? Like just
Oh,
not
Permafrost.
Permafrost.
Yeah.
Yeah, permafrost.
Yes. Mr. Freeze.
Insane. Insane their impact. So it's like, and then at that
Bro,
point, nothing
they're
is
not
eating woolly
releasing them.
mammoths.
They're not releasing them, bro. They're not releasing them.
I don't
They're
know.
gonna have them in tubs. Like, look at the woolly mammoth. Like,
genetically
dude,
modified
that's
to
a
be this
big
big.
tub, dude.
Bro, I'm
could
telling
convince
you,
them. They
they're
could
not
convince
releasing them. They're not releasing any of these animals. I promise you. Other than the ones that are like extinct, very.
The only
Close
reason
enough.
why I agree with you. So
We're humans.
because it's the truth.
I'm gonna be a real big nerd right now and bring up a bug. The Simandoa conciferum. Okay,
What is it? What
Simandoa
is it?
conciferum.
Is it the stick
It is
bug?
a species of cockroach that
Okay.
was endemic to the Simandoa mountain regions
Yep.
in South America.
Yep.
Those cave regions were destroyed because they were like, we don't care about these places anymore. We're gonna put real estate or whatever the purpose was.
Yeah.
The only cave systems where these cockroaches existed were destroyed, and the only extant animals we have right now are in captivity in museums.
Yeah,
so it's like, damn, that sucks. But there's no effort to repopulate them either because there's no possible way.
I would say,
I can get that, but like, they're not gonna try to remake caves.
But also, not for anything.
it's not. But they're gonna be in
not
zoos.
because of anything, but also
This is money.
Not a lot of people care about bugs. More people are gonna care about a mammoth.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah,
problem
yeah,
because
yeah.
people care enough about a mammoth that they'll pay a ticket to go see one.
But I mean,
The mammoth is gonna be in captivity.
Imagine the ecological fuckery that would happen if you reintroduced cockroaches.
Yay!
That's insane. And we're already working, and this is another pessimistic doomsday conspiracy
I don't think
theory
it's
with
that
me,
big of a deal since
is
we
the
have already-
introduction of isopods. Specific species of isopods, all of a sudden people just, because isopod market went crazy, all of a sudden people just throw their bins outside. You are introducing hundreds of species into an ecosystem where they're not supposed to be. And yes, it's a single little pill bug that, might not do much, but it could do a lot of damage.
I'm surprised
It
no
really
one's
could.
mentioned poaching. The moment they release something outside.
Oh yeah,
dude,
Trump is out there with a sniper.
They won't even
bro.
wait. The moment
Yeah.
they release a woolly mammoth, that thing will have cameras all over its ass.
Dude,
Whoa.
dude, it's
Yeah,
not coming.
they will not-
Well,
you're gonna
they're
see
not
no one
releasing
that
these
will-
animals.
You're
They're
gonna
not
see
releasing.
if they
the
release
animals.
them, you're going to see a news report from
They're
Russia
not releasing
of some dude
shit,
that killed
bro.
two in
At
his
some
yard.
point.
They're not
Yes,
releasing
but
shit.
not for a
They're
while.
not releasing shit. I promise you, they're not releasing.
All
shit.
right,
That's crazy.
let's break some hearts. Eric or Tino, pull up our Thylacine update.
I got it right here.
Yes.
Oh,
We
the
have,
pain.
we'll let Eric have his moment and talk
Forrest
about
is
it.
a liar
Well, it
again.
was fun while it lasted. This is a picture of a thylacine that was taken in Tasmania last month. This man, also known as Zach, claims to have taken the pictures while his dad was holding a flashlight. I talked the last time about how the story was kind of sketchy, but the pictures look really good. This is not his pictures. I mean, some of these look really good, but new evidence has surfaced to show that these are fake. This is Arcasuchus on Twitter. Or I should say, a man named Arcasuchus, or woman, I don't know, makes lifelike replicas of animals and puts them in real-world scenarios. He makes art like this. Freaking cool. Anyways, he lives in Chicago. Wouldn't you know it? That's not only where Zach says he lives, or near there. This is one of Arcasuchus'
same fucking
models.
skull.
That's a model of the Thylacine yawning.
That's
It's literally
it.
the same thing with just
That's
like
the
a few
fucking
minor
thing.
touch-ups to it. And if
It's
one is fake,
over, dude.
they're all fake.
So that when I first saw the photos, I thought that it looked like taxidermy, but I was like, you know what? I've never seen a thylacine alive before.
So what was it? What did the guy do? Who
What?
did he actually think he found some shit or what?
So now we don't fucking know.
So-
apparently.
No,
That-
the guy probably brought over a taxidermy thing that they made.
Yeah,
and then took
because it
pictures
was
of
Or at
that
least
guy
edited
is in
some posts.
Chicago where the kid is from.
The kid's from Minnesota, I think. Regardless,
I thought it was Chicago.
closer to them than Tasmania.
Should have been taking this memory stuff earlier.
Or something like that.
This is insane. I'm sorry, buddy. I knew it.
okay.
I'm not.
I-
I'm a
listen.
pessimist, so I wasn't.
No.
I
When
didn't have high
I
hopes anyway.
Bro, come on, bro. First of all, Forrest has been talking about this for so long. Every time, it's just views. It's just money. Mind you, it's not Forrest's fault, but Forrest has to pay attention to that because it's that much of a talk.
Yeah, of
I'm not saying he made this happen. I'm just saying he has to hype it up because of what it is. And he also said I'm not sure, but it's I don't know.
He's got to be mad excited though.
Yeah,
he spent so much
No way.
time investing.
I don't think so. That's happened to Forrest twice a year already, bro. He has to be used
so
to
funny.
it.
Yeah, but pictures like that,
Nah, bro. Nah. If he was really excited, he would have flown the fuck out of
For
here.
me, a thylacine
Maybe.
is on the same level as a skunk ape.
no.
Someone
dude.
shows me a picture of a Sasquatch, I'm like, okay, I know that this is fake just from the fact
No.
that it's a Sasquatch.
The skunk ape
So if
is
you
not
show me a
extinct,
picture
though.
of a thylacine, I'm gonna be like, that's the same thing.
Go, Eric.
It might as well be.
Go,
It
go,
might
go.
as well be a cryptid.
Eric, say what you're saying.
Dude, no. What do you want me to say?
He's
Say-
extinct.
Say what you
What?
were gonna say. You were gonna say something to Tino. Talk about your skunk ape and
No.
Because he wants to say that the thylacine at least existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm like, at this point, it doesn't
Look,
matter.
Yo, them fucking Aussies killed them all. I'm sorry. They did.
Eric needs to talk. Eric, this is your moment because when we're gonna stop recording this, you're gonna be like, I had so much more to say. Eric, say your piece about fucking thylacine.
It was fake, and I had a feeling. And then when I when I saw that it was actually what I thought it would have been, you can't be mad because you kind of had that in the back of your head.
But are you mad?
Yeah, of
Let's
course
talk
I'm
about
mad.
it, buddy.
I'm furious, man.
Does this dampen like your hopes or no? You still think your hopes are the same?
My hopes will always remain the same, but it just makes me feel bad. It's like
Yo,
an
how many
abusive
times?
relationship.
How many times have you had it where like, oh my god, they found one finally, and then it's not?
If I'm being honest, never. Just because
No
it's hard
way.
to believe.
No, but like I'm saying, like how many times has this exact scenario happened?
Something that like visual, never.
How about the guy that said he had a video?
Bro, have you seen the
Yeah, but before he put out the video, he said he had the video, and everybody was going crazy.
Well, I haven't seen that video, so
Okay.
I don't think that video
I
exists.
saw that
It's a bad video.
It's not that it's a bad video. It's a bad tell from the guy of what the animal is.
Oh my! Oh wait, are you talking about the video that Forrest made?
No. It's another guy. It's another guy in Tasmania, I'm pretty sure. And it's like
You're getting
not a
his hopes
kangaroo. It's the other thing.
Yeah, I
The
saw
wallaby.
that.
Yeah, it's a wallaby.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
It's
I
a
saw
wallaby tail, and it's like
That's a
jumping through
thylacine.
thing, yeah.
I saw it with my own two eyes right there.
And they
it's
also
a
have-
fucking kangaroo, dude.
No, it's a wallaby.
Can you just talk in that voice the rest of the podcast?
I don't know. I don't know if that's racist or not.
They also have the stripes on the back like a thylacine.
Oh,
No,
really?
not even, bro. It was
No,
the
they
fucking
did.
shadow.
No, they did. They did.
It's so faded though.
yeah. Like it's not the same, but they do
Shit,
have
no.
stripes.
Faded out.
Dude, the thylacine negotiations, whatever they're called. Dude, I need to take your fucking
The thylacine-
your brain pills. the Tagoa. We'll go with that.
To go.
They're not
Tagoa.
crying wolf. They're crying thylacine.
Yeah.
Yes, not just
Fire.
that, but it's just an angry dude in the woods that
What does he say? Tell me what he says.
I don't even know what the fuck he says. He just refutes
That
everything.
was your time for improv with your fucking voice and everything and nothing.
Nothing. But yeah,
Still.
like you could say, like if Yoshii was like, "Yo, I have a picture of, I don't know, a diplodocus," I'd be like, "No, you don't."
Okay, but
It's
a
like the same
diplodocus
level.
is not on the same level as a thylacine, though.
Yes, it is.
What's a
it's not.
diplodocus?
A diplodocus is a long neck
A long neck
sauropod
what?
dinosaur.
dinosaur
Oh,
from Land Before Time.
they spoke a language.
No,
that
not
I
a
didn't-
sauropod.
It is a sauropod.
It is a sauropod. Yeah,
It's like, bro, like I feel like we're probably gonna find a unicorn before the.
Yeah, facts. Chuck could say, "I have a picture of a
Technically-
unicorn." I'm like, "Is it a
Technically,
thylacine?"
the unicorn already existed. Unicorn already existed. We had something beautiful called an elasmotherium. It was a rhino with a huge ass horn.
It's not a unicorn. A unicorn's
Yeah,
a
it
horse. Like
No. And guess what's also a horse? Well, not.
What's a horse?
They're related to horses.
What?
Rhinos.
No.
What the
They're not a
fuck?
horse.
Yeah, but they're related.
Very far. Like
Odd-toed
before a rhino,
ungulate.
you got donkeys, zebra, you got fucking asses. Like you got a whole bunch of shit.
Those are all
No,
horses.
bro, it's all about that.
Yeah, they are.
It's
That's a
odd-toed
horse,
ungulates.
motherfucker.
They're
That's so
both
funny.
odd-toed ungulates, therefore they are
Yeah,
cousins.
but also isn't an elephant one too? You fucking idiot.
maybe.
It is.
I don't know how many fingers they got.
I'm pretty sure.
I'll bet 4.
He's so stupid.
I think they have
Point
five.
is-
They got 5 toes. I'm pretty.
I think
sure.
at least one.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least one.
And manatees.
Manatees.
Yeah.
You know, actually, yeah, manatees. The closest living relatives are elephants.
You know what's funny too? Do you guys know what a
No.
hyrax is?
Yeah, that.
You know what a hyrax is?
Yeah.
Hyrax.
It looks like a rodent and is related
It
to
looks
elephants.
like
Yes,
it looks like a
yes.
little rabbit, and
Yep.
its closest relative is an elephant.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
Can you
That's
explain
wild.
that? Like,
You know
No,
what
I
actually
can't.
bothers
With
me a
evolution?
lot? And I'm sorry,
That doesn't
we're
mean
no
they're
longer
closely
talking
related.
about reptiles,
Go
but in
for it.
terms of animal relations, a lot of people call bats rats with wings. Bats are just as closely related and probably closer to rats as they are to like rhinoceros. You could literally say bats are rhinoceroses with wings, and it means the same thing as rats with wings. That bothers me so much.
Fucking nerd. I swear to God, dude.
Yeah,
don't
I'm
nerd
a
out
nerd.
so much.
All
I
right.
agree though.
It's the
You can't not
truth.
agree with that.
No, it is factual, but like, why does the general public have to give a fuck?
Because
Yeah, you're right. They don't.
we're all about trying to get people to care about animals.
You're right.
I'm trying to get them to care about it, not know taxonomy or whatever.
Okay,
the
but
fuck
if-
it's called.
Taxonomy,
If we get them
dude.
into the rabbit holes, that makes them feel a lot more like, you know, closer to it.
No, they feel lost.
Yeah, they're
look at
lost,
you
so they
like
can't
you're-
leave. So then they
No.
start falling in love with it.
No.
It's called Stockholm syndrome.
Is that what you do with your turtles?
No.
We don't have to talk about them today.
Fuck you
We don't have
guys.
to talk about it today.
That's so funny.
Yeah. I think we're good here. Merch, modernreptileshop.com. Become a member. This was the Reptiles With Podcast.
Goodbye.
Bye.